Alrighty then.
It's usually me making demands of Harpocrates. Lawsman Harper.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion, but I can't imagine what for.
And I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor. This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Cid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the dragoons, his studies no longer being deemed necessary. I again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting. Not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him. And I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, when what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
I see. I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail. Apothecaries across the ages, such a flower is to be granted inner solace. Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found, where even the most outlandish opinions align.
Well, it can't hurt to try. Where can I find this flower? And how will I know it?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossoms from whose roots the poisonous ink for the brand is distilled. Well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which they are raised, the deeper the color. There is a waterfall in Rickmal's roost across the strait, where the flowers once grew in abundance. Whether they still survive there, I know not. But try as I might, I can find no likelier location.
It's all right. I'll find you a wyvern tail one way or another.
Thank you, Clive. And please, be safe.
Probably one of the only things I miss about being a gamer.
Good girl. Seems this place has been flooded twice over. Purple flowers blooming next to a waterfall. Be too hard to find. Here they are. Might as well big enough for a boat.
Did indeed. My dear boy, thank you.
You wanted to make Dion a gift of it.
No. It is time.
Our lawsman has something he'd like to give you.
No. Not after everything I have done. I have taken countless in all because I was weak. I have sworn to atone for my crimes, but die in the attempt. But were I dead, even now, I hesitate to approach him. What must he think of me?
You'd be surprised.
Master Harpocrates, pray, accept my apologies for leaving your tutelage before my studies were complete. Your lessons opened my mind to a world quite unlike the one I had imagined from within the gilded confines of the palace. And I shall be forever grateful for the efforts you made to enlighten me.
Lift up your head, Your Highness. The deeds of youth require no apology. That you took the time to visit me says much about the man you have become. Now, there is something I would like to show you.
Is that a wyvern tail? The color is unfamiliar to me.
Because it is unique to those found in the wild. Something in the harsh environments in which they grow lends them this striking hue. Their roots are indistinguishable from those of their hothouse cousins, but once they bloom, the difference is immediately apparent. In this flower, I see you, Your Highness. Its roots were the roots of a wyvern tail, with all that implies. But they do not define it, just as yours do not define you. I want you to have it, that it might remind you of this truth.
Master Harpocrates, I would ask of you a service. Keep your gift until I have fulfilled my duty to the realm. For only then shall I be deserving of it.
As you wish, Your Highness. I shall await your return.
Our roots do not define us. No wonder my stepmother didn't like him. For reuniting me with memories I had thought long lost. I shall not forget this.
Thank you, Clive. Were it not for you, I fear I might never have found the right moment to speak with him. Not to mention the wyvern tails. I shall plant their seeds, that I might not disappoint His Highness upon his return.
I hope the soil in the hideaway is to their liking.
Why, these flowers bloomed in the bleak, black wastes of Waloed. I'm sure Nigel's yard will suit them to a T. When it comes to expressing one's gratitude, I find that words are seldom sufficient.
What's this?
A stolas quill. Or more precisely, it is said that an owl's feathers so considered wonder.
Thank you.
Well.
Leviathan the Lost. But why now? After all...
Why, what now?
No. I'm not sure you...
After all we've been... I doubt there's a...
All right then. Rouse Joshua and leave me in the mess. I see we're all here. So, I'm not sure yet. The letter delivered to my chambers omitted of...
Do we know its provenance?
That was one of the details it omitted. But whoever the sender was, it seems the dame held them in high enough regard to...
The dame? Well, she's not one to waste our time.
Important might be an understanding. If the letter is to be believed, Leviathan's dominant is in danger.
Leviathan?
So the Warden of Water has finally... What has it been?
More. The Lost moniker dates back at least that long. Even our venerable lawsman would not have been so much as a glint in his father's eye when last the mighty serpent brought his crushing waves to bear upon the realm.
Well, why the gap? I know it can be a few years before a new dominant's born. But over a century...
Should the dominant of Water's bloodline have been severed somehow, it could have prevented a new dominant from awakening.
But if one has awakened now, he couldn't have chosen a worse. Every nation in the realm has lost its dominant. If word gets out that there is still one to be had, they will stop at nothing to claim it for them.
And the twins will be at war again. Just when humanity most needs to come together. Did the letter say anything else?
Only that if I wish to know more, we must... and that the Veil can arrange a meeting.
Famous last words.
As am I.
Thank you. And Otto?
Yeah.
I shall leave the invincible...
See how this plays out.
New notification. Trophy name. Press the connect button for details.
Garrison said they'd take another.
To the Veil it is, then.
I don't wanna...
Looks like... You've got thirst.
But enough talk.
Fancy a peek behind the veil?
I'm looking for a Layla.
You found one. So, will your friends be joining in? Or just watching?
We're not here for your services. We simply want to talk.
What you do with your time is up to you. The price is still the same.
What was your first call? Look, my first call was 19.
We're here about the letter.
Oh. Sorry. I suppose you'll be wanting to know who wrote it then.
Among other things.
Look, I'm just the messenger here. There's only so much I can tell you.
Specifically?
A location, north of town, on the shore of Isle of Feist Bay. There you'll find a tent, and the woman who can answer your questions.
And that's all? Nothing else?
Actually, one thing. There's more than flowers in the meadows these days. So keep that sword of yours to hand.
Does anyone else think it strange that this woman should prefer to keep to the outskirts of town?
What if she realizes the value of the information she's party to?
And the danger it puts her in.
The tent is where Layla said it would be.
Yes, but who awaits us inside?
It's empty. Boat. No prizes for guessing who that belongs to. The embers are still warm.
So you're Sid.
I suppose I must be. Which means you have me at a disadvantage.
Apologies. I am Shula, tributary of Mysidia, final haven of the Motes of Water.
The Motes of Water.
The very tribe into which it was believed Leviathan's dominant was born. A people notable for their sapphire eyes and ivory hair. Yes, that would be impossible, since the tribe famously
Vanished. Was exterminated. Despite the best efforts of both church and state, we are still very much alive. Though we've managed to keep that fact hidden from good Kriegers faithful for over a century.
Along with Leviathan's dominant.
That wave out there. What do you know of it?
The Surge. Only that it's been there a long time.
Since the fall of Drake's Eye almost a century ago. Some claim the two are connected, but none can speak with any certainty. So in other words, you know nothing.
As long as we tracking
Not
it.
that I'll hold it against you. The wave was raised by Leviathan in an act of rage. Moments before the waters were stayed, and the icon and its dominant bound within.
And you want us to?
Rescue him. Yes. You see, a little bird told me about a certain outlaw with a singular knack for putting unruly dominants in their place. And ours is about as unruly as they get. For years, we've searched for someone who could hold their own against an icon. Someone just like you. So what do you say? Will you help us?
What exactly did your dominant do to warrant this punishment?
What did he do? He committed the greatest crime one of his kind can. He was born. But he deserves a better fate than the one my people forced upon him. He deserves to be free.
As do we all. Very well. Far-fetched though your tale may seem, something tells me you speak in earnest. So we will do what we can for your dominant. But first, you will tell us everything you know about him and the means of his imprisonment.
I can do better than that. I can show you. Care to take a trip across the bay? My people await you there.
Lead the way.
Alright, you might want to hold on to something. We're coming up on the wall, and passing through can take a bit of getting used to.
I don't see any wall.
Of course you don't. That's the point. It's a glamour woven by our ancestors to keep our village hidden from prying eyes. But don't take my word for it. Watch.
That was worse than a slug of Bacchus wine.
Clive, the sky.
It's blue, but how is that possible?
You do know what a glamour is, don't you? Ours just happens to work both ways, and a good thing too. I wouldn't fancy staring at those sickly clouds every day. And that concludes our little voyage. We're here. It's a long slog to the village, and a hard one. I hope you're up for a climb.
Finally.
What? You didn't think we'd arrive, did you? The village isn't up here. It's on the other side of the mountain.
Of course it is.
Notification. Towards the end. Press the PS button for details.
Watch yourself, Sid. This path can be treacherous. If not for the sheer drop, then for the beasts who prowl it.
Thank you for the warning. And please, call me Clive. Sid is an alias.
You will be pleased to learn, Lady Shula, that I have no such alias.
Is that so, Lord Margrace? It's all the same to me. I was wondering where they'd pick up our scent.
Stand back. We'll handle this.
Oh, will you now? Shall I keep my axe and spells to myself then?
Might try.
Earlier you mentioned spells, yet I see you carry no crystals.
Since when did a bearer ever need crystals?
But then, where is your brand?
Waiting for me in Sunbreck, if I ever get careless.
Then it's in for a long wait. Time to fight.
We're almost at the summit. From there, you'll have a better view of our home. Few have ever set eyes on what I'm about to show you. Just so you know.
This is not what I expected.
Welcome, my friends, to Mysidia.
It's been a long time since I saw the North looking so
Alive.
I'm sure you have plenty of questions, but it's been a long journey, and I expect we could all do with a rest. Our humble village is only a short way from here, if you'd care to accompany me. Let's get ourselves in front of a fire, and I'll tell you everything you need to know.
It's beautiful. Shula.
And we aim to keep it that way.
Are those stones glowing?
That's one of the cairns which maintain the glamour. Steer well clear.
If the search was an act of rage,
One wonders what prompted it.
have spared ourselves the mountain crossing by landing further north.
In clear view of the bay?
On evening tides.
Does morning's light return?
Open the gates! The tributary is home!
Outsiders? Well, I never. Look at the size of that dog.
All right now, back to your duties. You'll have to forgive my people their curiosity. We don't get many visitors. Or any, truth be told.
Then we are honored to be the first.
This is quite extraordinary. Like stepping into another world.
So do you believe me now?
You've made it difficult not to, my lady. But how did your people chance to settle here, in the north? Unless I am much mistaken, the moats of water long called the coasts of Southern Ash their home. Until Drake's Horn fell, and the Blight forced them ever inland, where...
We met our doom, along with our dominant. I see you've read the Gregorian Church's account, but perhaps you'd like to hear ours. That building over there is the Witten Hall. It's where my people gather to discuss matters of import. We can speak more inside, once the place is ready to receive you. It shouldn't take long, but you're welcome to explore the village while I see to things.
Thank you. We'll do just that.
I don't think I'm gonna give y'all an hour today. That's sad, really. Well, I'm just that tired.
That'll be them then.
Don't look like
Look.
Intruders!
So what do you think of our little haven? It might not have all the comforts of a southern settlement, but at least it's ours.
There's a lot to be said for that. It can't have been easy keeping this place a secret.
Not easy, no. We've dedicated our lives to maintaining the glamour that conceals us. Us, and, well, yes.
A lot of people who actually play that game, you know, this man, Malleus, is he Leviathan's dominant?
That's right.
That could be a discussion.
Though he's no man, Malleus is still a baby.
Masterpiece game, and all that stuff like that. Of course, no, it could be quite a discussion.
Forgive me,
about
but
that.
you said that the Dominant and his icon were bound inside the Surge almost a century ago. That would surely make him older still.
It would, if he'd been allowed to age. But the spell robbed the
Bro, I'm
poor
hella
bairn
slow,
of even
so
that.
like,
I'm sorry.
where do we pick the
Malleus
females
was the son
from?
of my
I mean, I don't mind.
great-grandfather.
Content is content.
Leviathan
as long as
awoke
it's
within him almost immediately.
Controlled and all that
Instead
other
of
stuff,
allowing the lad to live
I'm
out
down
his
for
life
it. But
as a
like,
valued member of the community.
are we pick? What are we doing?
My ancestors sought to put his
So I
power
played
to
the
good
game, but I
uses.
didn't. Okay, I sucked at
Sadly
that
for them,
game. I ain't gonna
the
hold you. When I
Icons
got to a
sensed their
certain part,
treachery
it wasn't the Fat Joe fight.
and
I'm trying to
summoned a
remember what
wave
fight
so
where I just
large
rage quit
it
and
would have
actually never
swallowed
beat
the
it.
entire
But
village.
what was
If
it?
my
Can
ancestors hadn't
you're gonna have to
stopped
actually explain like
Then it
the
is not the
rules
surge
that way?
binds the child.
Like, do
Time
we pick a
itself.
female or do the female pick
Yes.
us?
Forgive me. I'm still not sure I understand.
I'm not surprised. It isn't the easiest thing to explain. Which is why it might be better if I took you to see him. Show you exactly what he has to endure.
That is why we came.
Then let us be off.
Hey man, I'm proud of you, for real, for real.
There's a road that leads north from the village.
All
It'll
I'm gonna
take
say
us
is
right
you're
into the surge.
representing really good like animes between the 90s and the freaking early 2000s. Like, a lot of people, man, bring it back for the one time, for real, for real. I'm really glad that you're doing these cosplays, bro.
Are you bound for the wave, tributary?
We are, Delina. Have you spread the word about our guests?
I have. Everyone knows to treat them as family.
You shouldn't have any trouble now, but just in case, I would have you accept this symbol of our people.
That's very kind. I look forward to meeting the family.
The feeling's mutual.
Should the tributary be indisposed, feel free to ask me any questions you might have regarding the village, and I'll do my best to answer.
Thank you. We will.
Then I bid you good tide.
Our storehouse lies across the bridge. If you're short of supplies, you may find what you need there. Though we will have to ask you for recompense, poor as we are.
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Sid, you are
We use them to dye our fabric, so we always feel close to each other.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. An old fool Pavard may be, but if you come bearing gifts, he's not fool enough to turn you away.
I appreciate that, man, because, like,
Glad to hear it.
I don't want to really do what everybody else is doing. I kind of want to be, like, unique to myself. So I want to do stuff that, like, I grew up with and, like, stuff that's kind of relatable, but then also not really follow the crowd, too.
Definitely understandable.
Welcome to Haven, friend.
My bad. What was it?
Thank you.
Mugen
My
and
presumptuousness.
Karama.
But the smith's wife has asked me to make her husband.
Yeah,
those
those are some pretty.
Elder's blessings.
Bear with me, bro. I'm streaming, but I'm also like,
to be precise.
I chugged the whole Red Bull. But no, I fucks with it. I fucks with it.
It is.
No. So what I'm saying is, like, the people who have played the game, and of course, you know, when they feed, you know, they pick the girls up, Coralie, Lil Kim, and Shoshana.
That's not the only reason they have a special place in our hearts.
It's like an interview we asking people,
Legend
like,
has
saying,
it
like,
that when our people
who
fled from
relationship,
Ash,
what
the
people did you pay
tributary
your
of the time
you know,
took
things
some
like that,
seeds
you know.
for them.
That's what I meant
And
by
as
that.
they
That's what you
wandered
tap for
high and
females.
low across the twins, he'd plant
This
them
is the
wherever
people,
they
it's like an
stopped for
interview, but I think
water.
like asking questions.
Every elder since has done the same.
Haven't asked the questions. That kind of thing. That's what I meant.
So when we
But
finally
ultimately,
put
it's
down
relatable.
roots here in Mysidia,
Like, let's say, for
flowers
example,
did
like,
too.
if Chris, like, say, because that's what I think of. If Chris played the game, ask him what female that he picked, that he picked of that game, and he might say, hey, look, I know
to visit
you
Pavard.
say that. And we'll ask why. Then you go it's like an interview kind of questions, and it can probably bring that kind of like questions like why you pick her and shit like that, you know, things of that nature, you know. That's what I thought of. It's something like maybe like an interesting conversation. It might bring some, you know, not say hostility, but you know, it can bring like something like to talk about. It's like saying people talk about anime victory, you know, that can cause like a lot of discussion about that, for example, you know.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm all for it. So I'm all for it, but I'm wondering how many of those youngins actually have played Def Jam Fight for New York, though. That's my only worry. Oh, but now, some real shit, we can link up, and I don't mind doing that. Like, especially with all the new micro SD cards and the new camera I got, like, everything's gonna be content. So I'm gonna be out there and just hitting the record button and just try to make this experience, like, because I'm gonna need all of that at the end of the day. You feel me? So yeah, we can do that, bro. I'll let you take the lead on that. Tell me how, because I'm going to have multiple mics and shit too. So, yeah, man, fuck it. Let's do it. I got you. But just to clarify, you're only going to be down there for a day, right?
You're good. I understand you're a busy guy. But yeah, I was working on the Kurama from Yu Yu Hakusho, and then Mujin from Samurai Champloo, and then I was also kind of
I was leagues away.
I guess experimenting with like one from Hunter
If you
x
ask for
Hunter.
something from the storehouse, it's actually my wife you'll want to talk to.
Is Leorio?
She will
I
have to
think
charge
that's
you for the
how
goods
you
roll.
say it, but
Not that would fleece you
yeah,
or
I'm trying
anything.
to mix it up and do like different anime instead of like the same anime as most other people are doing, or just like the same
might not be
anime
able to get
that
anything down for you
I've
for a bit.
been cosplaying from already. I kind of want to get some
She's got a
diversity going
hands full
on.
with the inventory, you see. It should have been my daughter's job, really, but
So I'm going to
the
say
willful
this.
little Rill's decided to make herself scarce. The heavens only know where that girl's got to.
There's nothing wrong with staying in your niche. I think it took Chris a long ass while to get out of his, because you know he's always known for like. But then again, too, he's done different variations of Goku's, so I think that's been his saving grace. But nah, I definitely get it. So that's all I was saying. I can't wait to see how the Kurama and the Mugen turns out, bro. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be great regardless.
Hear me, mine ancestors.
This must be the path.
It's you!
You well.
Thank you for bringing... Oh, no.
That's...
Thanks for putting up with her questions. She, has a lot of them. One of the big ones, maybe. What are the people beyond the wall like? Reckon you've made a good first impression.
Are we the only ones she's ever met?
Now you are. The rest of the world can't know we're here. So we'll have to be very careful who we're letting in and out. A few of us might make an occasional trip to show for supplies, but...
Yeah.
So please... It's a pity nothing but the foundations were left standing. The whole storehouse made of stone would make it a lot easier to keep our supplies in good nick.
Thanks for bringing... Anyway, this is all we have. Here you are. May it serve you well. Well, if you're sure you need it. Here you are.
Yes?
Till next time, then.
How long do you think this bridge has been stuck?
Suddenly, there were curls everywhere.
Did you hear that, girl? There's a pair of ships just up ahead.
Ships? But are we not still leagues from the shore?
The quickest route to the surge is due east, past the second gap.
Shula, how did these ships come to be here?
What do you imagine happens when an icon of water gets anchored?
Brother, did you have to ask?
Tongarees. Foul creatures consumed by their hatred for everyone and everything.
Everything save sharp knives, it seems.
I can smell the sea.
It's not far now.
How will we reach the surge?
We'll follow the coastline north. There's a bridge that'll take us across to the cape.
Might I inquire about the Ray of Light?
It's what prevents the surge from being reclaimed by the sea. And Dwalius by his people.
You said before that the child is bound within the surge.
Yeah, just in case of any kind of discussions, it could be anything. I'm just putting that for a good example. But just in case of any kind of like this, topics that happen to be like, they can be quite good, you know.
The surge wraps around the cape without engulfing it. If we continue to its tip, there is a path down to the seabed and the wave's origin.
Right. It won't be the first dominant we've met at the bottom of the ocean.
He might try to participate in the people trying to join, help out, and ask people around. I mean, hey, it would be dope. So, because for me, taking this shit to do some shit like that, that's something new to me. But I mean, just in case of they don't, I hope they don't. But then again, there might be some cats around the same age group as me, or as us. So, but yeah, only Saturday, and we can give it a shot. That should be dope.
Say less, brother. I got you. We'll make it happen. Thank you. Hey, how you feeling though after the PR? Your legs good? Your body recovered and all that other stuff? Just checking on you is all, brother. Don't mind me.
It's not much further now.
The path seems well kept. Do you and the villagers often come this way?
Only me. Once every new moon without fail. It is my duty both as village elder and Walyas's descendant.
But surely no one blames you for what happened. Why should you bear the responsibility alone?
You misunderstand. I do it
Well, I
because
feel like I was
want
the only one that
to show him
participated
that
in
he
that.
isn't alone, and that there are still some of us who would see an end to his suffering. Suffering you will soon witness with your own eyes. The forest grows quickly here. Left unattended, the path would be reclaimed in a matter of moons.
At least I know this would probably be the best time to start.
Does the light point the way to the child?
Wow.
It does indeed.
Feel the droplets of water suspended in midair.
Where they have remained untouched by time for 80 summers.
It's not right.
No. It's not.
There. Up ahead. Down in the center. Follow me.
He's still primed.
I'll never forget my first priming. The fear. I was old enough to understand what was happening. One can only imagine how this poor child felt.
He is the victim of an unforgivable sin. Committed by people who saw him as nothing but a means to an end. He must be so frightened.
Then I'll ease his burden.
You don't mean...
I'm not going to hurt him. Contrary to the tales, I don't go around killing dominants for no reason. What if I told you there was a way to remove Walyas's icon?
I tell you, you were a madman.
It's hard to believe, I know. But it can be done. Though, it isn't without its risks. Part of the icon remains no matter what.
So, it might still come to violence.
I don't know. It depends on the dominant. I've seen things end well, and I've seen things spiral out of control. But I do know one thing. If we turn our backs on this child, there will be no end to his suffering. And I think that a worse fate than the alternative. Don't you?
Very well. Do what you must. And whatever happens, I will own the consequences.
Don't be afraid, little one. Let me bear the weight. I think so. I can feel the icon inside me. But something's wrong. He wasn't just afraid. He was angry. All right. Let's see what you've given me.
Power of water, frozen time. Surface cry.
Leviathan!
No, just to make it a little closer.
Press the PS button for details.
I ain't feeling that.
Is everyone all right?
He seems calmer now.
You said Walius was frozen in time. That he knew we were here.
He's never reacted to anything or anyone.
The child has been bound for nigh on a century. If he's been conscious from the first, we must remove the seal.
It's not that simple. I wish it were. There's more to this tale.
I see.
I'm sorry, Wallius.
New notification. Choice 1. Press the PS button for details.
So, part of Leviathan is in...
No.
Good. Because I still have... If you want to know the rest...
Of course.
There you have it. Heard him.
To understand the spell which binds Wallius, you must first know who we are, and what drove my forebears to commit such an atrocity. This tapestry is our story, the one that brought us here. After generations of wandering, my people sought refuge in northeastern Storm, some 170 years ago. But in exchange for our safety, the Gregorian Church demanded we renounce our faith, and branded us heretics when we could not.
To be exterminated, as a lesson to others.
And so was it chronicled in the imperial histories, for anything less would have made the Church seem weak. Yet a handful survived. The few who did fled north and west, and in doing so discovered two things that would forever shape our fates. The first was an old legend, revealing how to make your very own Mother Crystal.
But that's impossible.
As they were soon to discover, aye, far too late. Our ancestors convinced themselves that they could recreate the divine if they could only find a strong enough heart. A living being capable of channeling torrents of ether. And the heavens provided.
A dominant. Oh, yes.
They'd stumbled across a nostrum in an ancient ruin, which they believed could provoke a sudden outpouring of a creature's ether. They meant to enrage his icon. Leviathan would have destroyed everything, had our people not made their second important discovery. A means to stop time itself?
Where did they find that? The Northerners had no such magics, or they would have used them.
When our ancestors first arrived, the land was uninhabited, save for an old witch who lived on the highest peak. Her body had been consumed by the curse, a cruel payment for her long years of service to the Northern Thanes. So desperate were they to prevent the fall of Drake's Eye, they'd forced her to devise a spell to stop time.
But Drake's Eye did fall.
It did. When she finally perfected the necessary magics, it was already too late. As punishment for her failure, the Thanes exiled her to this forsaken place to live out the few days she had left. Knowing her suffering, our ancestors cared for her as best they could, and in return, she gifted them her spell. That even though she should die, her legacy might live on. So armed with both the knowledge of the ancients and the secrets of time, our ancestors settled upon an ambitious plan. They would create a new Mother Crystal and enchant it that it might endure for all eternity. Thus would our people's wandering, our suffering, finally end, and prosperity visit us once more. And all it would require was the sacrifice of a single child. A small price to pay, or so they believed.
Another victim of man's blind reliance on the Mother Crystals. So we know the seal's source. How do we break it and restore the flow of time?
Do you recall the dome of light on top of the cliffs to the west? Inside lie the ruins of an old temple. It was there that the witch built the Vare, a conduit of sorts that channels her remaining ether into the surge. But it's been a long time since anyone set foot in the place.
So after this dialogue, y'all, I'm gonna cut it.
Others who claim it as their own.
I'd be tired.
We should go prepared for a fight. Said it may be best if one of us stays behind.
You think the village could be in...
There will be better.
Sorry, y'all. I'm just tired.
The Vare is not easy to find. We must first...
Alrighty, y'all. I'm cutting it here. Yeah. Y'all be good.